Oh, good morning, afternoon, evening to our attendees, wherever you are in the world. I'm so excited to launch this webinar today. We've been planning it for actually about a year. And so really the focus today is on how involvement with ATS fosters professional growth and advances global respiratory health, both for international members, but also for, our North American members. And so I'm really excited to welcome all of you, as well as to a very distinguished panel of speakers. Just briefly, I'll introduce myself. My name is Peggy Lai. I'm an adult pulmonary and critical care physician at Mass General Hospital. I worked extensively with various ATS international programs, including MECOR India, as well as performed research in Africa. I'll hand over the introductions to my co-chair for this panel discussion, Deborah Boyer.
Thanks, Peggy. And yes, again, I share the welcomes, and wherever you are in the world, we're really glad you're able to join us. My name is Deborah Boyer. I'm a pediatric pulmonologist, and I work at Nationwide Children's Hospital, which is in Columbus, Ohio, in the United States. And I mostly focus my work on medical education, but I also do pediatric lung transplant and general pediatric pulmonology. And so I am very glad to share this stage with this group of panelists. We're going to go ahead and introduce all of the panelists right now, and then we'll go through each of their talks that are recorded for you. And then at the end, we'll have a live Q&A that they will be available for. So please write down your questions. Feel free to put them into the question and answer section, and Peggy and I will moderate that at the end. So I'd first like to present our first speaker, which is Jennifer Taylor-Kauser. She is a professor of adult and pediatric pulmonary medicine at National Jewish Health in Colorado. There, she directs the clinical research services and co-directs the adult cystic fibrosis program. She leads research on novel cystic fibrosis therapies and has been a primary investigator on numerous studies. Dr. Taylor-Kauser chairs the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation Women's Health Research Working Group and is chair-elect with the ATS International Conference Committee. And I neglected to say I work with Jennifer as chair of the International Conference Committee, so I am very happy that she will be able to join us today for her talk on the international perspectives that are essential for our ATS mission. Our next speaker will be Michelle Johnson, who will speak about why ATS and how to get involved with ATS. She received her undergraduate degree from Harvard University and her medical degree from University of California, San Francisco. She completed her residency at the University of Washington and her fellowship in pulmonary and critical care medicine at the University of California, San Francisco. Dr. Johnson is the chief of pulmonary critical care and sleep medicine at the San Francisco VA healthcare system, and she also is the current chair of the ATS membership committee. And Peggy, I'll turn it back to you for the rest of our introductions.
Great. Then I'll be introducing our next three speakers who are calling in from all around the world. First is Dr. Özge Yilmaz, who is the chair of the Department of Pediatrics at Manisa Selçuk Bayar University in Turkey. And we're really excited to hear her share her experiences, starting with MECOR Turkey, first as a student, then a regional course director, and soon to be the co-director of the ATS MECOR program. Next, I'm excited to introduce Dr. Edwin Nurajira. He's a physician scientist and a junior faculty member at Edinburgh University of Science and Technology in Southwest Uganda. He's participated in the PATS MECOR training program and was awarded the 2021 ATS Diversity Grant, as well as recently a NIH K43 Career Development Award, all for his work on post-TB lung disease. Dr. Nurajira will be talking about the benefits of ATS membership from the perspective of a junior investigator based in Africa. And finally, as our last speaker, we have Dr. David Lam, who is the Chief of Respiratory Medicine at the Hong Kong University School of Medicine. He also served as the past president of the Asian Pacific Society of Respirology and the Forum of International Respiratory Societies. Dr. Lam will tell us about his perspective about the benefits of collaboration between sister respiratory societies and also co-benefits of being a member in multiple respiratory societies. And then after that, we'll have the live panel discussion and Q&A, as Deborah mentioned. All right, so we'll start with our first talk now.
Thank you, Dr. Lai and Dr. Boyer, for the opportunity to present today on this critically important topic, particularly with my perspective as the ICC chair-elect. These are my disclosures, mostly aren't relevant today for this talk. So before we really delve into the topic of international perspectives, I think it's important for us to take a step back and think about the mission, pillars, and areas of interest for the ATS. Our mission is to accelerate global innovation in the advancement of respiratory health through multidisciplinary collaboration, education, and advocacy. Our pillars are leading scientific discovery, transforming patient care, impacting global health, and advancing professional development. And our medical and scientific areas of interest include things from pulmonology and critical care and sleep medicine through occupational medicine, physiology, and molecular biology, amongst others. Now let's take a look at our membership. On this slide, US membership is indicated in aqua, and international membership is indicated in yellow. And you can see that more than 30% of our members are international. On the right side of the slide shows the top 10 international membership countries, ranging from 3% in China all the way to 12% in Mexico. And it's really important that we always keep this in mind. So what is the value of global collaboration? Of course, respiratory diseases such as asthma, tuberculosis, bronchiectasis, and COPD affect people worldwide. While we acknowledge that different areas of the world may face unique challenges based on healthcare infrastructure, health insurance, access to treatment and prevalence of diseases, amongst other factors. However, diverse international perspectives allow for a broader understanding of global respiratory health issues and help identify new challenges, create diverse solutions, and enrich the approach to respiratory care in our patients. Now let's talk about our pillars. The first one I said was leading scientific discovery. And we really acknowledge that global collaboration drives progress. A great recent example was featured in a webinar post-ATS, and it was about the ASPEN trial, which enrolled people with non-CF bronchiectasis, approximately 1,600 individuals from 35 different countries. Both doses of brensocatib actually achieved statistical and clinical significance for the reduction in the annualized rate of pulmonary exacerbations versus placebo over 52 weeks of treatment. And this data may enable the approval of the first drug specifically for people with non-CF bronchiectasis. And how did that happen? Through global collaboration for this big clinical trial. Additionally, international teams bring varied approaches to research questions, and that promotes innovation through shared knowledge, data, and technologies. And finally, we know that collaboration across borders accelerates scientific discoveries, and this benefits patients worldwide, which is part of our mission. Another pillar is transforming patient care. Again, we recognize that treatment models can vary across regions. However, when we develop our clinical care guidelines at ATS, we always include the international perspective. And great examples of recent documents created through ATS work are shown on the right. We really also know that international collaboration potentiates the exchange of proven clinical practices, which again, improves patient care standards across the globe. Our third pillar is impacting global health. Global public health challenges demand collective action and coordinated international efforts to have any chance at success. ATS international partnerships and committees help address global public health crises, including things like air pollution, smoking, and infectious diseases like COVID-19 and TB, amongst others. International cooperation is critical for establishing guidelines and implementing global strategies to disease prevention and control. And our final pillar is about advancing professional development, and that includes through learning. So education with international input broadens the scope of expertise for healthcare professionals who are caring for people with respiratory disease. Clearly, ATS is committed to year-round learning through educational programs and training opportunities such as the one today. And the ATS International Conference is a hub for global knowledge exchange. So now let's take a look at international conference attendance. Again, on this slide, US attendance is indicated by aqua, and international attendance is indicated by the yellow boxes. Of course, as you look across the years of ATS attendance, there was a decrease in attendance overall during the pandemic when we had to go virtual. But the really important point that I'd like you to take away from this slide is that we do have a significant attendance from international attendees, and we think about this a lot on the International Conference Committee. So the ICC really believes that a more inclusive environment enriches the ATS conference programming and experience for all of its attendees. We are committed to diversity and inclusion at all levels within conference programming across numerous different aspects of diversity, including the international perspective. To that end, we have established a diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging subcommittee whose goal is really to formalize the approach to measure diversity across sessions and define a process for the use of these methods and tools. We are using the data to benchmark our goals for diversity across committee members, as well as conference speakers and moderators. To ensure that diverse perspectives are included when reviewing and grading conference proposals, we created and distributed a survey to enable use of metrics to inform rotation of committee members. Additionally, all forms for calls for conference programming reiterate the importance of representative inclusion of speakers and moderators. And committee chairs are asked to take these aspects of proposals into consideration during the review process. So in conclusion, ATS's vision for the future will continue to include the critically important international perspectives to drive progress and achieve its mission of advancing respiratory health globally. My ask for you today is to engage in international collaborations, whether it's through research, clinical practice, or educational initiatives. And thank you to all of you who are already doing that, including your attendance at this session today. With that, I will say see you next year in San Francisco for ATS 2025. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. Really appreciate your wonderful perspective as the ICC chair-elect. Our next speaker, as I mentioned and introduced before, is Michelle Johnson, who's chair of the membership committee, and she will speak to us about how to get involved with ATS. So we will listen to her talk next. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Michelle Johnson, and I'm Chair of Membership at ATS, and I'm excited to talk to you today about how you can get involved in our fantastic society. Share some slides. All right. So I want to begin by sharing who we are. So the American Thoracic Society is a global respiratory society. We were founded in 1905, and we are officially the world's oldest leading medical society dedicated to advancing global respiratory health. With over 16,000 members from over 120 countries in the world, our goal is to accelerate progress through collaboration, education, advocacy, and the supporting of cutting-edge research. We want to be your professional home. With over 16,000 healthcare providers and researchers around the world as members of ATS, many of them report that ATS is their professional home, a place where they feel like they're passions and their missions and values are met, and a place where they can connect, feel included, and actually belong. And we want you to be able to call this your professional home. So how do you go about doing that? What are some ways for you to engage? Well, there are multiple ways to get involved in ATS. At ATS, as a member, you'll gain access to cutting edge science, collaboration opportunities, and in-person networking, not only at the ATS annual conference, but also with an active online community. We can absolutely help you find ways to connect, engage, and participate in all that's going on with this society. The primary way for people to engage would be to join an assembly. We have 14 assemblies, and as you can see here, they range from allergy, immunology, and inflammation, to nursing, to thoracic oncology, to respiratory structure and function. Now, these assemblies are specialized groups that focus on various aspects of respiratory medicine and science. They provide platforms for experts and professionals to collaborate, share knowledge, and advance research and clinical practice in these multiple specific areas. They can also serve as communities where individuals with shared interests can come together to address challenges and make advancements in each of their respective fields. I also want to mention that in addition to the 14 assemblies, we have 3 sections. Now, these sections are subdivisions of an assembly, and they focus on specific areas of interest within an assembly. So the sections we have are genomics and genetics, medical education, and terrorism and inhalation disasters. You can engage by joining any of these 14 ATS assemblies and any of the sections, so that you can become more involved and find people who, like you, are interested in that specific area and wanting to increase and move forward that area in the field of respiratory medicine. And so, what comes with an ATS membership? What is the value of an ATS membership? And we want to say the answer is a lot, right? In addition to conferences and educational programs, are also products that can be obtained as a member of ATS. You save money when you register for events and online resources, including the International Conference. You can visit the ATS store where you can get on-demand highlights for the best of at each of the ATS conferences. And then you also have access to MECOR, Methods in Epidemiologic, Clinical, and Operations Research courses, which you'll hear about later in this webinar. The beauty of this is that you can learn on your own time at any time that you wish. Additional parts of membership include access to the fantastic ATS research program. The goal of this program is to bolster early stage investigators as they strive to launch independent research careers dedicated to innovation and patient care. Now, since its establishment in 2004, ATS's research program has awarded almost $22 million in research grants in pulmonary, critical care, and sleep medicine. The ATS research program, it partners with other nonprofit organizations and pharmaceutical companies to maximize the number of grants that it can support, and it also draws on its society members, donors, and partners in order to make these awards possible for our growing group of exciting clinical and research investigators. Another large value of membership is the advocacy both on a local as well as on a global level. ATS members help advocate for cleaner air, smoking cessation, tuberculosis control, pandemic measures, among other public health issues. With ATS, you can stay abreast of both practice and political and regulatory developments with subscriptions to great newsletters such as the Washington Letter, as well as the ATS Coding and Billing Quarterly, so that we can make the most out of the care that we're providing to our clinical patients. You have access to patient groups with the patient advisory, with the public advisory roundtable, that is composed of patients who are active voices within our society. We have a PAR representative on membership committee, and what they do is that they help connect the patients with experts, so that we can make sure that what we're doing really is advancing care for all. And how better to do that than to have access to the people that our research, our policies, and our clinical practices are directly impacting. And finally, being a member of ATS allows you to also become involved in regional and local chapters. At last count, I think we have over 20 local and regional chapters across the United States. And in these areas, people can find opportunities for regional networking, professional development, and advocacy that is focused on your specific area. And by doing this, we can all again contribute to the larger mission of ATS in advancing respiratory health forward. ATS also allows career resources for trainees, easy access, and you can post your resume or position that you might have available on the ATS job board, which gets wide dissemination amongst all of our members. And as you know, we have 4 amazing journals that are a part of our cachet. They're cutting edge medical journals, and you get subscriptions to all of them as an ATS member. You also can receive the ATS Morning Minute, ATS News, and the ATS Stat newsletters via email. You have access to the patient education series that is printed in English and Spanish, as well as other languages. As a member, you have access to over 150 clinical statements and guidelines that are created by true experts in the field across the board. And with a partnership with Springer, ATS also can bring you access to books on respiratory medicine that are free ebooks, as well as discounted print books that are again authored by noted experts in the fields that these books represent. And finally, you get a discount on submission fees and page charges and color art fees for publication in any of the Society's journals. ATS also is excited to bring you access to the Doc Matter community, which is an online collaboration with member physicians, researchers, and industry experts to create a community of high quality clinical discussions that can take place among our members. ATS has professional educational content at ATS Ed Plus, where you can earn CME and maintenance of certification points at your pace, again, at any time that you desire. And then additional membership benefits include access to ATS store discounts, again, the respiratory medicine book series that is edited by Dr. Sharon Rounds, who is a former past president of ATS. You get access to the ATS member roster, so you can reach out to people doing similar things or advocating for the things that you wish to advocate for. And then also membership certification that you can get printed out to demonstrate your affiliation with our society. And finally, we really want you to know that your membership counts. As a member, you have the right to vote for leadership at ATS, as well as to serve on ATS-wide committees. You have the right to hold ATS-wide office and the right to have access to ATS-wide recognition and any of the awards that are offered within the society. So I hope that that helps answer questions about the value of ATS, as well as ways to get involved and engaged. And if you haven't already, I hope you join today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Wow, I didn't even know some of these benefits that we have through ATS. Our next speaker will be Özge Yilmaz from Turkey. I think this is a really wonderful sort of talk just about how one gets more involved, particularly in the leadership positions within ATS. I'll just also mention to the attendees that they can start thinking about questions they want to put in the chat so that we can take a look for the later panel discussion.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Özge Yilmaz from Department of Pediatric Allergy in Manisa Celal Bayar University School of Medicine, Turkey. And I will be talking about my journey that started as a student in Miko, Turkey years ago, and that resulted in me being a faculty and then a faculty lead, and then the co-chair of the ATS Miko Steering Committee. well, why did I want to get involved in ATS? Well, I think the international societies and meetings give us the opportunity for collaboration. Collaboration between different institutions, collaboration between researchers that are interested in the same field. So the main reason for me going to a conference is sharing my own experience, both as a clinician and as a researcher, my findings and experience with other people, with people from other countries, from other institutions, and learn about their experience and their findings and what they are working on. So that was the reason why I wanted to be involved with an international pulmonology society. Well, I'm an allergist, but my major work is on pulmonology, such as asthma. So that's why I wanted to be involved in a respiratory health society, an international respiratory health society. Well, MECOR has actually led my way to getting involved in ATS, because MECOR program is, for the ones who do not know, it's Methods in Epidemiology, Clinical and Operations Research program. It is mainly hands-on work, and it helps young researchers from low middle income countries learn about research methodology by doing the work with mentors there. But the program is not only doing the work during the 1 week period that the course is there, but it supports the students also by providing them mentorship, not only about research, but mentorship about being involved in international activities. So where did my journey start? Well, it started in 2008 when I was a very, very young fellow of pediatric allergy as a level 1 student in MECOR, Turkey. Actually, that was the first year the course was held in Turkey, and we had group work, and I was working with 2 adult allergists. And for years, I was the only pediatrician in the group, in the course, actually. But even as a pediatrician, I could get help and mentoring on my research projects. And if the mentors in the course were not familiar with the work I'm doing, because they were mostly adult people, they did help me find international researchers involved on my project from the ATS community. So that year it was working with 2 more allergists, adult allergists, night and day for a week, and present in front of the group every day. It was a beekeeper's project. Since I'm a pediatrician and my group members were adults, we decided to do a research on beekeepers and their children. And that was when we met Professor Sonia Boost, who was the founder of the program years and years ago. And I think after that time, she was one of the major people, or one of the major persons whom I got mentoring about how to get involved with ATS. Well, what happened was in 2008, not only did MECOR help me learn about research methodology, how to read research, how to get my papers published, and about how to do better research, better quality research, but it also allowed me to attend one of my first ATS conferences in 2009, because I got a MECOR Travel Award to attend a conference. And then what happened was I got ATS membership as a part of the MECOR program. So I started going to the conferences, and I started reading about the opportunities of the American Thoracic Society for the Pediatric Allergists, that is doing mainly pulmonology work on asthma and wheezing. So that was in 2008 and 2009. I got my second travel award to attend the second year, to attend the conference the second year and present my work. And after that, I got the MECOR Research Award from the community, from the ATS MECOR Award. And my research was funded, and I completed all 3 levels of the program during that time. With this mentoring, I got a TA, teaching assistant for the program, MECOR Turkey, and then I got to be faculty in MECOR Turkey again. And in 2016, I became the co-lead of the Turkish program, and I co-led this program with Dr. Zuhal Karakurt. He was my co-worker, co-student during the course. And we were, I think, throughout our way to leadership, we were mentored by Professor Sonia Boost. Well, what I did was when I got the first travel award and attended the ATS conference, I attended the pediatric assembly meeting during the conference. And there I learned about the structure of the assembly, the projects that the assembly is doing and carrying out, the committees, and I went up to the people whom I thought shared similar interests with my research areas, and I introduced myself, and I told how I was involved with the ATS. And I became a member of the ATS Pediatric Assembly International Relations Committee, then now the interest group. And since they knew that I was a MECOR student and then a faculty, and I was interested in scientific research, I was invited to the planning committee, which during my membership in this committee, I learned so much about research opportunities from ATS and how you can apply for these. And I was involved in 2 guideline projects throughout these years, one the Wheezy Child Guideline and the Primary Celiac Dysplasia Guideline. Both of these guidelines were published. And then since I was involved with the International Relations Interest Group of the PEDS Assembly, I started to work with the international participants of the Assembly in various projects. Virtual International Pediatric Pulmonology Network was one of them. I'm sharing the link so you can go online and check it. It's still active, and we're using it to share information between pediatric pulmonologists from all over the world. And then in years since I was eager to participate in the activities of the international members of the group, I became one of the co-chairs of the Pediatric Assembly International Relations Interest Group with Dr. Laura Gochicoa from Mexico. And then with this group, looking at the MECOR example, we said, let's form an online program which is available to pediatric early carrier pediatric pulmonologists, fellows or early carrier pediatric pulmonologists from all over the world, mainly low middle income, but not strictly for low middle income countries, but pediatric pulmonology early care members from all over the world. And let's form an interactive, completely virtual course to assist them in applying scientific research methods and developing a research protocol in pediatric pulmonology. And then we proposed this to the Pediatric Assembly and the International Health Committee of ATS, and we got support from both groups. And we started the program, and now we have about 25 students who graduated from the program in 2 years. The program is completely online. It is about 18 to 20 weeks. The group meets every other week. Each student is mentored by a pediatric pulmonologist, experienced pediatric pulmonologist, who who are experienced about their own research question. And now, coming to the recent years, since I was involved with ATS since my first conference in 2008, and after my involvement with MECOR, I applied for the chair selection to the MECOR steering committee, and I was selected as a co-chair for the ATS MECOR steering committee, who's chaired by Dr. Shannon Carson. So I'll be co-chairing the committee for the term 2024 to 2025. And then I'll be chairing, my chairing will start in May 2025. I think being a member of American Thoracic Society has added a lot to my career, both as a researcher, as a teacher, and as a clinician. And I am proud to be a member of this family, this MECOR family from all around the world. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yomes. It's incredible to hear your journey, but also to see what you can do with just passion and opportunity. Next, we'll have a talk by Dr. Edwin Nurjir, who's in an earlier stage of a scientific career. We'll be talking about sort of his experience with ATS from the perspective of a junior physician scientist.
Thank you for inviting me to be a part of this webinar, and I will be sharing my experience and my perspective about joining the American Thoracic Society as an early career scientist from Sub-Saharan Africa. My name is Edwin Wajra, and I'm a lecturer in the Department of Medicine at Mbara University of Science and Technology in Uganda. I don't have any conflicts of interest to declare. Let me take you through my journey, how I joined the ATS and the benefits I've had. I joined the ATS in 2021. My background is in internal medicine, and I worked as a research doctor right after my graduation for my master's. And I was working under the leadership of Dr. Peggy Lai. We were doing research in indoor air pollution or household air pollution, if you call it. And 2 years later, I got an institutional grant whose condition was to have a US-based mentor. And I reached out to Dr. Lai, who agreed to mentor me. But my research is in tuberculosis and post-tuberculosis lung disease, which wasn't her research field. So she encouraged me to join international organizations where I could meet other researchers that could help me shape my research. And one of those was ATS. So I joined the ATS, and while there, I noticed that there was a call for funding. So I put up a competitive grant application, and I actually got the grant later that year. I'll talk about that later on. I was able to attend the international conference in San Francisco, and I went to the International Participant Center. And while there, I met scientists from Africa that interested me in joining MECOR. So MECOR in brief is a mentorship and education program of the American Thoracic Society. It's largely a global health program that trains scientists in operational and clinical research. And it's in several parts of the world, Latin America, Africa, and parts of Asia. For my case, it was largely MECOR Africa. So I joined MECOR Africa later that year, which is the Pan-African Thoracic Society, MECOR, as a step one student. So it was a very great opportunity. There was hands-on training in spirometry and air quality measurements. I got to know that there are ATS grants through the Pan-African Thoracic Society that are meant for MECOR graduates and that are also meant for early career scientists. I also got to know that there's a journal of the Pan-African Thoracic Society that is open access and that one can publish in as an early career scientist. But importantly, I got to know and to meet health workers from several parts of Africa that have a common interest in improving respiratory health all over the world and in their settings. Recently, there's an African Women's Leadership Program that has been launched for PATS-MICO that is focused on improving, MICO graduates, particularly the females, and giving them skills to be leaders in respiratory health. And as you can see from the picture, we have our ambassadors, Professor Masekela and Dr. Uju, who have won global awards at the American Thoracic Society as leaders in respiratory medicine from Africa. There's also an opportunity to participate in advocacy groups. Every September, there's a call for funding from the Pan-African Thoracic Society, for whoever wants to do an advocacy event to promote respiratory health in their setting. There are PATS webinars. There's actually an upcoming webinar on post-tuberculosis lung disease in adolescents and children, but largely it's a networking event. I got to join and to know about the African Bronchoscopists group from MICO. I got to know about the East African Training Initiative, which is a fellowship program in Ethiopia that is focusing on respiratory medicine. I got to meet scientists from several parts of the world who are interested in post-tuberculosis lung disease, and those have helped me, conceptualize my study and make it better. These are the pictures from the last MICO that I attended. That's last year in Nairobi, in Mombasa, Kenya. On the left, it's my group. At the front row, faculty, and the back row were the trainees. And as you can see, it's almost a 1-to-1 ratio. So by the time that 1 week ends, you have already achieved your goals. So it's a very great opportunity, and it was a very good learning experience for me. The other bit I will talk about, the benefit of joining the American Thoracic Society, is the grant opportunities and funding. I was very lucky and to get ATS funding at first attempt. And it also shows that the ATS embraces diversity and inclusivity. And these funding calls come up every year. Importantly, they also offer grant writing webinars and workshops. I have attended a workshop at the American Thoracic Society conference that was focusing on demystifying NIH awards. And at that time, I was developing my K application, which I submitted that same year, and it actually also got funded. So it's been an amazing journey for me ever since I joined the American Thoracic Society. And there's also an opportunity to donate and to be part of the Global Health Program and also part of the ATS research program. So in brief, these are my 8 points why I would encourage anyone in Sub-Saharan Africa or an early career scientist to join the American Thoracic Society. I talked about mentorship and education through MICO. I talked about grant opportunities, but there are also 4 major journals that you can be a part of. You can publish in those channels. You can have open access to those to science that is published in those channels. There are also assemblies at the American Thoracic Society. There are several assemblies depending on what field you're interested in. Personally, I'm interested in pulmonary infections and tuberculosis, so I am part of that assembly. We get to know our peers. We get to know what people are doing in that field. We get monthly updates. I've been featured before, and it's an opportunity to showcase what you're doing and to get feedback about what you're doing. The networking is inevitable. You meet so many scientists from several parts of the world at the American Thoracic Society, and people are willing to help. People are willing to shape up your research or to listen to you and make your career better. There's an opportunity to present at the American Thoracic Society conference. I have presented before. I've submitted abstracts to the ATS, and the presentation was a very great opportunity to get feedback that has helped me put up a great manuscript for publication. And all this has really improved my career, and I see my career growing. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I wish you well.
Thanks so much, Edwin. It's just amazing to see how your career has developed and how you built your own research program in post-TB lung disease. Last, we'll have a talk by Dr. Lam, who will be speaking from the perspective of the Asian Pacific region, but also as a leader of a sister respiratory society.
Hi, good morning, colleagues. I'm David Lam from the University of Hong Kong. I'm glad to have this opportunity, and thanks for the invitation for me to share with you why I joined ATS and how I get involved in ATS. And I would like to share with you from a perspective from being in the Asia. I'm past president of the Forum of International Respiratory Societies, FIRS, and also past president of the Asian Pacific Society of Respirology. That's why I have a long history of working in my own societies over in Asia, and also at the same time a long history of joining and get involved in ATS. So today I'm very happy to have this opportunity to share with you how I started my journey with ATS. And it actually started with more than 10 years ago when I was a trainee in pulmonology. Then I've got an opportunity to go from Asia to attend ATS annual conference in 2010. That was 15 years ago, and starting with the this award to have the opportunity to present my work on the ATS conference. Very happy at that time. And continuing on with ATS, actually I found a lot of opportunities that I can join ATS activities like getting scientific exchange in oral or poster presentations. I have the chance to participate in postgraduate courses, although I have to pay for it, and also joining the different assembly and section with relevant networking. I've been in the thoracic oncology section in the ATS ever since it was established several years back within ATS, and I found a lot of opportunities in getting to know the people of my same specialty, of my same research interest to me, in the same assembly or section. And through the different activities in ATS, I have opportunities to network with colleagues from other society as well, just like the ELACT, the Thoracic Association of Latin America, who is also working very closely with ATS. And also at that time, going on within ATS, I was a young fellows, or at that time a fellows in training. I found a lot of opportunities and research networking, and also receiving latest cutting edge research news, and also joining updating educational activities within ATS. Moving on in ATS, as I've said, there are a lot of opportunities to join when ATS worked with different societies, including the Asian Pacific Society of Respirology, which I come from. And this efforts and this liaison has not stopped, despite all we know we have the COVID-19 pandemics before, within which we actually carry on with the connection with ATS and the rest of the world, with updating educational activities. Here is an example on the screen to show you. At that time, at the beginning of the pandemics in 2020, with the COVID-19, that we have held exchange forum online with ATS, and there's a way to share knowledge and information with colleagues from within ATS and also other parts of the world. Not only my society, ATS is also working with other sister societies, namely the American College of Chest Physicians, the Asian Pacific Society of Respirology, the Association of Latin America in Thoracic Medicine, and also the European Respiratory Society, the International Union Against Tuberculosis and Lung Diseases, the Pan-African Thoracic Society, and the Global Initiative for Asthma, and also the Global Initiative for the Chronic Obstructive Pulmonary Diseases, under the umbrella of the Forum of International Respiratory Societies, that are also closely working with the WHO in different educational and research and also advocacy activities promoting respiratory health. And through ATS, we have a lot of opportunities to support the Forum of International Respiratory Societies activities towards working with WHO in these perspectives as well. So there are many opportunities and activities that we can have through joining ATS. And for example, moving on from my own journey, as I work more with my own society, APSR, through to working with ATS, joined with other society activities, like I have been invited to give lectures and taught postgraduate courses, and also I have the opportunity to join ATS statement workforce and committee, when the statement is usually a product of the work between ATS and other societies. And there are numerous opportunities to join ATS administrative and executive committees as international members, just like this time this activity is organized by the International Health Committee. And not to forget, ATS has got 4 different society journals, namely the Blue Journal, the Red Journal, and the Annals of the American Thoracic Society, and the ATS Scholar. And members are always welcome to put the names forward and join as reviewers and even editorial board members of the ATS journals. And there are numerous other opportunities and networking opportunities in research and education through joining ATS activities and together with ATS other society activities. So I hope I've shared with you my journey as an example of how good a journey I have with my own society, working with ATS through the FIRS and also with other activities. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Dr. Lam. Again, just a really inspiring journey from presenting at ATS to becoming the past president of one of our sister respiratory societies. We're going to be moving on now to our question and answer session. And so please type questions in the chat. I'll take the first one. So Moses Kuria from Kenya says, how do I join ATS? Do you accept biomedical engineers to join? And so there is a link that's been provided now, which you can click on to join ATS. But if let's see, Michelle is still on. So maybe one question for you, Michelle, is are there non-physicians or other sort of engineer types that are part of the ATS membership?
Absolutely. We welcome anybody who has an interest in respiratory health, regardless of your background or the degrees that you have. We really are looking to help enhance our membership by providing options and activities for those who, as I mentioned before, just are interested in advancing respiratory health in any way. So biomechanical engineers, welcome. We would love to have you.
Excellent, thanks. And I don't know if everybody on the call, on the webinar, can see the Q&A and the answers. I don't know if there's a way to get that membership link as well, Jennifer, in the in a public chat. But if not, we actually can help you with that on the website. I had a question, and I don't know if this might go to Edwin, and I encourage all of our presenters to turn on their cameras if you're able. But I had a question that anybody can answer, but Edwin, you addressed it a little bit in your talk. As chair of the International Conference Committee, I'm struck by the large number of members that or even participants, I should say, that we have at our international conference. And I remember even as a young investigator myself, coming to the conference and being quite overwhelmed and not even knowing how to start and navigate the conference. So I wonder if you or any of the other folks on this call can give some advice to folks if they are able to come to our conference. How can they approach it, and what suggestions do you have for them?
Thank you, and that's a great question. So my very first conference, like I mentioned, was in San Francisco, and to be honest, I was overwhelmed. As overwhelmed, and on the second day when my picture was up, I noticed that people would look at me and ask, "You must be the person that's up on the picture." So I got a little bit nervous, but what helped was the mobile app. So there was a mobile app that helped me select the sessions that I needed to attend, and it also helped me navigate places that I needed to go to. So in that way, I would get notifications that your session will be coming up in like 30 minutes, or your session will be coming up, this place, and that was like really, really easy. It made life easy for me.
Excellent. Does anyone have anything else to add to that? Any of the other panelists?
I think as a pediatrician, I think following the tracks helped me a lot. And attending the assembly that you are interested in, because PEDS assembly kind of helps me navigate whatever there is in the assembly and what I can do throughout the conference.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll just mention briefly that every year the International Health Conference IHC committee, sorry, I was like, what do these letters stand for? Actually puts out a global health roadmap. I can't put that link in the chat to everyone, but maybe Jadir or Christina can do that. And so basically it's a highlight of all the global health related events at the international conference for that year. And so it just kind of condenses and highlights those things. So that's always a very useful resource. Great. All right. I don't see any questions in the chat, but I certainly have one for the panelists. And, I'll be remiss actually to not introduce Christina Braz and Jadir Oliveira. They are the two ATS professional staff that actually run and organize all of the international activities. And so I just wanted to make sure we introduce them briefly because they are what makes everything run. And so I don't know if Jadir and Christina, you want to highlight that specific to the conference, there are actually certain things that are programmed that are focused towards global health and international members. I don't know if you wanted to highlight, for example, the special sessions that we have and the input we need from the global health community.
Yeah, so hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon. So my name is Christina Braz. I oversee all the ATS Global Health activities, and we do have a global health roadmap for the conference that we created 2 years ago, and you can download that document from our website, and you're gonna have all the activities related to global health and international activities. Also, when you register to the conference, there is a tag that you can add as as one of your main interests being global health, right? So with that, we can also contact everyone who tagged global health to share all the activities, sessions, and events that we're gonna have on global health as well.
Thank you. Thanks, Christina. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A. But I can ask another one. I would wonder, and this is not limited to the international conference, but really to any activities that you all have addressed through the ATS. But some of you, I think particularly Ozga, Edwin, and even David highlighted many of the ways that they got involved early on in their career. Can you speak any more specifically or advice on other ways that members or people that are interested in becoming members, what opportunities there are for early career professionals to get involved and engage, whether it's at the conference or even in the ATS in general? How does one even start? How can you even start that journey?
Well, I think for low middle income countries and where MICOR is held, MICOR is an amazing way to start getting involved with ATS. Because with MICOR, when you attend a MICOR, it's not only a one week long course, but you do get mentoring from various people who have been active in ATS, not only as researchers, but also in various ATS projects. And that mentoring helps a lot. One is that. The second one, for pediatricians, we have the VibeDrop program that is held every year now. It's completely online, it's a little bit long duration. It takes about 18 weeks, but it's completely online through Zoom webinars. Third is applying for mentorship. Nearly all assembly have, I think all assemblies, not nearly all, but I know about PEDS, have mentorship opportunities, which early career members can apply for. I think that would help them a lot. And if they can attend a conference, there are a lot of opportunities to attend for awards, travel awards, to attend conference. And when they are in the conference, one thing, Sonny Boyce, who is the founder of the MICOR program, would say, communicate and collaborate with as many people as you can. So if once you're at the conference, go to your assembly. Like I've met one of the chairs of this webinar, Deborah, in our planning committee for PEDS. So when you volunteer going to your assembly meeting, you get to understand where you can be involved more. So those are the things and go to the poster sessions, go find people who share the same research interests with you, exchange your mails, phone numbers, and start talking to these people.
Thank you.
Great. I see there's a few questions in the Q&A. I see also that it's been a little bit more than an hour, so maybe we'll just take these last two questions in the chat. So the first question is, MICOR is a great platform to connect with ATS members. However, I feel it is regionally limited. How can we connect with specific committees from ATS? I don't know, Michelle, if you want to take this one.
Sure. Yeah. So If you are interested in the work of specific committees like membership or devices or health equity and diversity, on the website there is a list of the members of each of the committees along with a list of the chair and the vice chair. And so if you are interested in specific committees, I just might get in touch with the chair or vice chair of that committee. Or if there's someone either in your region or at your institution or nearby that is a part of that membership or other specialty committee, you can reach out to them as well.
So if I can talk, we have a portal called Get Involved on our website where you can, like everyone, all members can go to the portal and you can say that I'm interested in participating in International Health Committee, Membership Committee, or any committee you want to participate. So we're gonna share the Get Involved here on the chat. So you can go there and see the ways that we can get involved with ATS as well.
And one more thing I would add too, as a way to get involved, for initiating interest, I would say through the Get Involved portal won't guarantee you, but it will get you get your name out there where people will know your interest. The other way to get involved, besides the Get Involved portal, is that we also send around to all of the international societies through the International Conference Committee. There's a way to express interest, and it's I think sent out right now. You can express interest in being a moderator or facilitator for different poster sessions and different activities at the society, at the conference, because we're very interested in having international participants serve as moderators and facilitators as well. So please connect with your local societies. And if you have any trouble with that, you can also find my email on the website. I'm happy to help direct you to that resource. The last question, just in the last minute, it comes from somebody who is asking, I believe that it is, they're mentioning that it is free. I believe the conference is what they're referring to for the first year as a MECOR trainee. How can I know it has been accounted as an ATS membership? I'm wondering if they're asking about moving forward and attending the conference and whether that is accounted for and the discount as part of being an ATS member. I can answer, I can start and just say that there is a way, if you are an ATS member, when you register for the conference, you will get that, you can get the discount as a member. I don't know if there's anything different about being a part of MECOR and applying for the conference that folks need to know about. No, I was gonna say no.
No, but there are MECOR awards, MECOR travel awards that they can apply for, but not all.
And also, we always can check, right? You can send us a message and we can check if you're, you know, if you already had your first year of free membership or not, or what we can do. Just contact us and we're going to help you to navigate.
Excellent. Well, Peggy, I think we should probably wrap up just based on the fact that we're 1 minute over our stoppage time. On behalf of all the panelists, and Peggy can speak as well, but I'd like to thank you all for sharing your experiences. It's phenomenal to see where you have all started, but where you all ended up, and I can't wait to see more to come. So thank you so much for joining. I'm also happy to have you reach out to me if you ever have more questions, and I'll turn it back to Peggy just to wrap it up.
Yeah, again, and as I want to echo what Deborah has said, thank you to our panelists who are, calling in at 11 p.m. 12, a.m. their time to join this important webinar. And thank you also to the attendees from all around the world. I hope you've gotten a sense of, how being involved with ATS can be helpful both for your careers, but also how much ATS values your input. And so thanks again for joining this webinar.
Take care. Thank you.